All right, I was going to do another little Q&A. I didn't get too many questions on this one. The other day was pretty significant for me because I hit 50 pounds down from my all-time high when I was doing some powerlifting and strongman stuff. It doesn't really hit you until you hit some of those big numbers, and 50 pounds seemed pretty significant, so that's what I posted about. Jason, next goal, if not powerlifting, or is it powerlifting at a lighter weight? Definitely not powerlifting. Definitely older. I've got some tweaks, twinges, some stuff going on. So I'm probably never going to pull like I did before, and that was obviously one of my stronger lifts. Squatting, I think I could probably get back up a little bit. Bench, I could probably do okay if I put some time into it, but the pull's not going to come back, I don't think. So the current goal is to be in better condition than I've ever been. So that was probably around, I want to say 2007, something like that. I'd have to look back. And where I was pretty happy, I was around 192 or 196. I always forget. Either way, I'm definitely lighter than that now. I don't believe in better condition yet, though. Probably because I haven't been able to train as heavy. So I'm sure I've lost some muscle. So I know I'm going to be lighter. But once I'm happy with the condition I'm in, then I will try and bring back a little bit of that muscle, which I'm sure will be a challenge being almost 10 years older and again, not training as heavy. So we'll see how that goes. Nathan, I'm sure the lighter weight is better for health and longevity. Absolutely, without question. Better on the joints, better on your digestive tract and all that kind of stuff. Several studies, you can look them up if you want, talking about lower calories being one of the main advantages for longevity. So that's certainly for sure. And people can argue about keto, whether it's healthy or not. There's different ways to do keto, so I don't believe it's fair to group them all into one bunch. It's not like I'm eating, 2 pounds of bacon every day, which you could technically do, I guess. I try to get in the healthier fats and that kind of stuff, grass-fed this, blah, 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 avocados. So it's more of a healthy keto, if you will. But either way, people can say it's not healthy for you, cutting out an entire macronutrient. Listen, go to your doctor and ask him if he'd be happy if you drop 50 pounds. Which one's healthier? I got another guy telling me that, his doctor doesn't like keto because it cuts out fruit. All right, well, you can take a multivitamin, multimineral type of thing to kind of make up for that a little bit, number one. Number two, you can still have a lot of different kinds of berries and stuff like that. So you can really get in your micronutrients if you're paying attention to it. And the funny thing is, when he goes off of keto, it's not because he's eating fruit. It's because he's drinking beer and eating burgers. So would your doctor be happier that you stayed on keto and didn't eat any fruit? Or would he be happy that you're sucking down some beer and burgers and everything else? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's it, really. Only a couple of questions on that one. So back to the 50-pound thing. Just incredible. It always bothers me when people say, they can't drop weight or they can't gain weight. I know yo-yo dieting is not the best thing in the world. I always just got sick of doing one thing or the other. So whenever I got leaner, I was tired of not being big and strong. Whenever I got really big and strong, joints started hurting, started getting a little bit tired, and I had to get a little bit leaner. I think if I stayed bigger for longer, things probably would have worked more in my favor for my ultimate goals, but I didn't do that, and now it's too late. Besides that, I'm always, I never got big like by sitting around on my couch. I was always in the gym, putting on a decent amount of muscle and training hard. So I think it's a little bit different than your average couch potato yo-yo dieting. I definitely didn't do that. So going down in weight, I think, yeah, I'm going to be a lot healthier, for sure. I feel great now. My energy is fantastic. The way I changed up my routine, which I mentioned in one of my posts, I think, was I started doing intermittent fasting every other day. And on that day, after my fast, which ends up being around 20 something hours or so, I train in a completely fasted state at the gym. Just weights, no cardio. After I train, I'm slamming a shake that has a decent amount of sugar. It's actually about 40 grams of dextrose. It's about 14, 15 grams of fructose, some creatine, some fish oil pills, 100 milligram caffeine tablet, and 2 scoops of a whey protein isolate. So the idea behind that is, in an extremely fasted state, after training, I'm extremely insulin sensitive. So the hope is that it spikes that insulin real hard, real fast, and crams that glycogen into the muscle cells. Fructose is only going to go in the liver, which is not great for ketosis, but by adding fructose, you can actually bump up your rate of how fast you can absorb the carbohydrates by a little bit more than double, actually. So that's why that's in there. The other idea is that the faster and harder you spike that insulin, the quicker it's going to come back down to baseline. Whereas something like pasta and rice, stuff like that, is going to elevate it not quite as much, but it's going to keep it sustained for several hours. I don't want it sustained. I want it to drop off back down to baseline so that I'm back into ketosis quicker. Then I can go back to my normal keto meal for dinner. And then the whole next day, I don't train, but I do eat all my normal keto meals. So I'll probably get in, 2 or 3 plus maybe that keto coffee the following day. Then the next day, I do it all over again. So it's just a push-pull split, basically. For push day would be chest, shoulders, and tris. Pulling day would be some back work like chins, rows, rear delts, traps, stuff like that. And then I have a quote-unquote man day, which is not so much for me anymore, in which I do squats and deadlifts. Used to be man weight, now not so much. But I'm keeping them in there to try and bring it back a little bit and work through some of those tweaks and things and see what I can do. So I've been doing that for a week, which is not much time. In the beginning of the week, my weight was pretty much the same, and then towards the end, it really started dropping. I hit a new low like 2 or 3 days in a row. Today was 185.6. The lightest I've been in years, like over a decade, was 183 at either my wedding or one of my friends' weddings. I can't remember which one it was. One was 183, one was 184. Doesn't really matter. Either way, I'm 2 pounds away, which I think is pretty crazy. So I'm going to stick with this for at least a month. I want to see how it goes. And then I'm going to see if I need to switch anything up from there. Hopefully, I'm happy with my condition in about a month. I have a feeling I'm not going to be, so I will keep going. And it's going to be a little weird for me to dip into those 170s. But we'll see how it goes. Any questions? Let me know. Till then, have a good one.